Hey, 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 there we go. We are back live. Um, the morning mixdown. I need to get my glasses. A few technical difficulties this morning, but kind of got over it, everything. And yeah. So today we're working with a song with Jeff Lamb, and we are going. No, I haven't figured it out yet. I'm also I get way more interaction when I actually just stream from my phone. So kind of cool with that using my phone for the time. I'll figure it out at some point. But last time the time I streamed from like OBS, I didn't get as much interaction. So Twitch. I mean, if you log on to Twitch or YouTube, you get the full stream and you get the video, you get everything. I just feel that TikTok works best when it's not. I get way more interaction. Like I'll get follows, comments. That just doesn't happen on when I stream it from OBS. No. Twitch and YouTube, and it's all the same handle.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings. Till ceilings fall, I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static, was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash.
Okay, so Paul, good to see you. But yeah, I would say definitely log into the Twitch if you want to see the full screen and everything. Yeah, so let's get to it. Today we're working with indie artist Jeff Lamb. He is a phenomenal guitar player, as I mentioned in the video. He has been just crushing it this past year, and yeah, so I'm excited to do this track. He sent over the stems. I think everything's pretty well put together, and I'm just gonna play back the song so we can take a listen.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings. Till ceilings fall, I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static, was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels. She got me looking at where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I finish this part. I learned that sinning is hard. I learned a new language and
So I want to start recording. Oh, I'm color coding everything because I gotta get everything through it. What's up, man? Thank you for joining. Yeah, the mix. This is just the stems. The artist set the stems. I'm doing a live mix here, from top to bottom, and yeah, the artist, great. It sounds great already. So we're diving into the mix. The first thing I'm doing right now is color coding the session, and that's really important for me to get all my organizing the track, because once I get the track organized the way I'm used to it, it allows me to just focus on making moves for the song. Happy guitar. That sounds like a happy guitar. So that's really cool. Really great guitar tones, by the way, on this one. So yeah, as I was playing it back, I just started color coding everything because I need it to be in a certain place for me to know how to move forward in certain places. Just because I don't want to think about like, oh, is this or this that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just a big thing to like just know like also the sections of the songs. Like I'm gonna start marking all the different songs, like the intro, the hook, the verse. So because I'll loop just the hook for a while, the verse for a while, and just focus on that. But having everything set up this way allows me to just do everything quickly. And that's the thing with mixing that I like to do, is just get into the zone as soon as possible, so I can just focus on the mix. And again, this artist is Jeff Lab, great, phenomenal indie artist.
ceilings fall. I'm left sitting alone, singing just to figure it out. But take me.
Lamb, like the animal, Lamb.
Take me.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, check him out. He's awesome.
Take.
He crushed it on these vocals too, by the way. It's always great when you get a song with a production that's on point. It just makes a huge difference.
Long as I finish this part, I learned that sinning is hard.
Oh, cool sense. Here's the stuff here. So as I'm like listening to the song, I'm also just getting ideas. Like I can see where some of the frequencies are overlapping. A lot of great textures, a lot of great sounds, but we just have to like start carving the sound and getting the sections just like working together really well. The production's really well done and it's already in a great place. So I'm not doing a lot of heavy lifting. And there's that bass. Okay, cool. So yeah, and he also labeled and got the whole session extremely well prepped, which I really appreciate. So we're just doing a little light setup here now because of that. And then we're gonna get back to the thing that really starts to matter, which is the gain staging. Cool. So got the song, let me do this. Verse 1.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings. Till ceilings fall, I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. But distance in the way.
So this is like an instrumental post. Yeah, 1000%, 1000%. I think he does everything himself. I think the only thing he's not doing is mastering. So yeah, just super developed, great tones. And that's a big thing for productions. When I think I saw something this past week where, or no, I went to an event and I was chatting with another producer or engineer, and we were talking about how you can't fix something in the production. Uh, you have to fix something in the production. You can't fix it in the mix. They had Michael Bauer mix a song for something they were part of, and it's Michael Bauer is one of the greatest ever. He did Coldplay, John Mayer, like the first few Coldplay, so like the biggest records ever, and um, it just sounded how it sounded, but better. But you still didn't get things to connect, and I think that's what's really important about production. You got to make sure that when you're doing it, like it all interacts together because it's just so important for that to be working in the production. You know, like his bass tones don't clash with his guitar tones, and the synths, like they all got their space. There's some frequency crossover, but not too much. But it's enough that you can work with, and it's just like well or arranged as well.
Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long.
Yeah, I don't know why there's something with the drums going on right now that it goes all super loud on me.
Pick your out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long.
Yeah, it just like goes up. I'm like, why? Is it the sample or what the heck is it? All right, I'll find that later. But that's kind of getting in the way of stuff. Okay, so we're back to doing the markers, and I'll show you guys on TikTok how I am doing that. Okay, this is verse 2. Okay, so from verse 2, we're gonna pre. Okay. If a key signature chord progression plus lyrics are trash, hey man, preaching to the choir on that one. Let's see, where are we? Okay, cool. This is pre 3, 2, and then we're gonna go to hook 2. Okay, cool. I think that ends there. So let me show you here. When you look at my screen, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's like a one overall, like one shoe fits all. I mean, one shoe fits all feet, whatever the expression is. But like, you can't really just it's all dependent on the song. Like, I can give you all the advice in the world, but if you get a different production than I get and it's has like problems or it doesn't have problems, it's just a different way to go about it. Like every mix I have to approach differently because some mixes I'm getting something like this, which is like really thought out and fully produced, and sometimes I get stuff where I gotta have to make certain elements work together better because they're not quite there. But here's my markers that I was just working on. So here I can go to the intro, the verse, the pre, the hook, the post section, the verse, again the pre, and then it just makes it super easy as I'm like navigating the mix where I'm just focusing on the actual mix. And having this set up is great. You can do markers on every DAW. So if you're working on different DAWs like Logic, Ableton, or Studio One, I recommend trying adding that to your workflow. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is group this stuff. I'm gonna group all the tracks, so because we're kind of getting a little bit closer to the mix stage, which is gain staging. We're gonna gain stage the tracks. So here as I'm gonna play the loudest part, which has been the hook. And we're peaking on there. No, that's another conversation. That's like another daily conversation. Being a producer, you have to be an engineer now. Like everyone's like an engineer, mixer, mastering. I've seen guys do it all: graphic design, producers for artists. So you kind of have to do everything, man. You just can't do one thing. Uh, let me see. Okay, so going to show the master bus channel here that I just created. And to create a channel in Pro Tools, it's Command Shift N, and then you'll get the new tracks. I went through it really quickly, and I just obviously you want a stereo, and then you go to master fader. So we have it here, and you can see it's going to the red. It's going up about a dB and a half. So what's important to me right now is that before I start putting plugins and before I start doing anything with the mix, I want to make sure that I'm not in the red. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for all the game out here, sharing with everybody. So yeah, so here's the thing here. All right, so we're back. I lost everyone on OBS for a second, but we're back on the mix. So we're listening. We just lowered everything down. All right, Sid. Thanks for the roses. Appreciate that, Ben. That's cool. Wonderful stuff here. I appreciate that. So gain staging. Gain staging is the first thing and one of the most important things I think in mixing is making sure you're not in the red, because as you start adding plugins on all the levels, you will encounter that certain plugins, like, they work like hardware. So if you overload them, they're going to distort and they're going to create sounds that you probably don't want to have come out. So the more you gain stage and the way you can control the mix better, and you'll have more of a balanced dynamic and you'll understand everything. So definitely a huge thing for me is that I start with gain staging, give myself headroom, and then I'm gonna import a bunch of stuff right now, and then we're gonna start adding the plugins. And I like to really start diving into the mix when I have my master bus in place, because my master bus really drives my sound. And since it drives my sound, I need to mix into it, and so I don't have any surprises afterwards. Because there's two different trains of thoughts. Some people like to have very minimal two bus processing, and if they'll mix, in with all the multi tracks, and then just add some stuff, and it doesn't do too much, but it just kind of glues and holds the mix lightly. I'm on the other spectrum of it where I have it shape my sound. So I put it on really early so I mix into it so I know what I'm doing and all the different things I need to accomplish. Because it basically will be um, all my decisions with the master bus help me understand how it's going to translate at the very end with all the processing. So this mix was not all the stems and the multi tracks for here were great and they weren't too loud. So we had already had headroom, and that's great. So now I'm gonna start doing some processing. I love Heat from Pro Tools. As I've mentioned a few times, Heat is tape emulation from Crane Sun. They're the guys. They also created the Phoenix 2 plugin, which is very hugely popular. And I have Heat here. It's really easy. On the right side, you just open this up from the fader window. You click here and then you turn it on. I like the drive one click left, and I like the tone one click left. So I'm not doing too much drive, and I'm trying to also not get too bright with it, because by the time I add all my plugins, it's going to be super saturated. Okay, so that's a good start with everything. The one thing that I have to make a decision though is with the drums. So the artist sent me the mixed group drums. So I think I'm assuming he works in Ableton. No, actually, he might not work in Ableton, because this looks Ableton has a certain naming scheme. But I'm going to say that he well he did so he has a master aux for his drums, and then he has a bunch of processing, and so he sent me those drums, plus he sent me the individual tracks. So I'm gonna quickly A/B it to see that everything is perfectly aligned with each other, and then we can kind of take it from there. So Pro Tools has this really cool thing that if you just select a bunch of tracks, so I already had the other drums muted, and then I selected the two printed drums with all the processing, and then if I do Shift M, I can go in between them really easily, and that allows me to just focus and listen.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south.
Yeah, so I'm seeing this is like way louder. So I have a feeling that the drums are probably much louder than they were grouped now that they're individual. So I'm gonna go ahead and group just the drum stems. And then I'm gonna lower it so it matches the level. Yeah, see, and hey, we don't have the same effect. Yeah, like he's got a reverb on that. We'll try to figure it out. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so we have all the drums, but we're missing like a very intentional reverb and delay. So that is interesting. Let me see. Okay. So I think I'm going to stay with the drums.
Like close and tunnels, pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Save me.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
Wouldn't take this long.
So we have like a spike right here. So I want to take care of this before we start doing more plugins, because this is just a leveling thing that we have to address. Okay, yeah, so it's a sample. Let's see. I'm gonna clip gain it down. Oh, and you can see this nasty. Look at this little clip. Get rid of that. I hate those things. All right, so we're gonna lower this. Yeah, that frequency right there is just crushing me. So what we're gonna do, I feel like it's only coming on the side. Let me see. So what I have this one plugin I really like. It's what is this guy? Okay. So we're gonna sell the sides. Yeah, so the frequency that I really don't like is coming from the sides. So with that filter Pro Q4, I can go to stereo placement, and then I'm just gonna go to, I think this is just the left actually. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty extreme, but it's happening only on the left side. But maybe we can make it dynamic. And we can just kind of, yeah, I like that. That sounds better. Okay. So I'm gonna take this plugin off because I prefer the dynamic EQing from Pro Filter Pro Q3. No, this is Pro Q4. Really love Pro Q4 and 3. I use them both as still. Yeah. Okay.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting alone, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause. Your call betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings.
So the drums are not quite matching because they're dropping in intensity.
When memories always betray me. They traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause. Your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static. Was 4 flights to 4 years if they never
Oh, this guitar is. I like the guitar sound.
shout.
Okay, so you know what? Let's just start routing because it sounds like we're gonna be doing some more leveling. And first thing I'm gonna do is import session data. And we're gonna take it from this track we did a few weeks ago here. And this is a beautiful thing about Pro Tools. Some people work with templates. I prefer not to work with templates because I like to see what style of music I'm working on first, what the song is, what the mood is, and then I'll just go from memory to which tracks I feel have the settings. It's like I would say 80% template because the stuff I'm going to bring in is basically what I would always use for this type of track, and but I just don't want to start. I never start with like any basic template until I kind of hear the song, get what we're working on, and then I'll kind of make those choices. So I don't want to import any clips, so that's all deselected. And then I don't want to import the automation for the audio panning or volume or mute. I just want the outputs, and the same with the sends because all that's going to be tailored to this song. So what are we going to do? We're going to do all the drum stuff. We have the bass, crash. Let me see. I don't think their vocals are so far. They're they're very different. But you know what? I have some routing in there that I'm gonna keep. And then we're going to do the auxes for the subgroups, more parallel compression. We're gonna match this master, that master, and then the track. Okay. So you will see all the tracks just come up, and this just automatically puts me ahead into. Okay, so now we have all the different tracks, all my effects groups. Let me show you guys. So all this right here, I just added from a different session. Let's call this one the name of this song. And that just kind of helps us go through this process. Cool. So now we got to start routing. So the routings, I'm going to take the drums first. And the way that I do my setup, my drums are at the top. Okay. Take this up to here. Okay, great. So this sample, this is like yeah, we're gonna have to. I think I have to chop the sample up, but I can do that later. Okay, so this is interesting because the sample is baked into the drums. So I'm just gonna start routing stuff. Ooh, that just jumped a level. And while I'm routing and putting everything in place, I'm going to turn off the 2-bus processing because I don't want to hear that right now. I just want to make sure that I'm getting signals sent to the right places. Perfect. Okay, so these risers, I'm just going to send over to the music bus. The bass, I'm going to put into a group because it's two different tracks, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have the same processing. Bass is something I constantly just keep together. But the one thing that he did here was that he sent it to me mono. I'm gonna keep it mono. So it's a mono aux, and we're going to send. Okay, so they're automatically sent there. I'm gonna send the basses to their subgroup, which is gonna be the music all. And once I do all the routing, I'll show you guys the subgroups I create. And let me see. The synth bass has to be on its own for sure, but we can route it. Yeah, musical. Okay. The guitars. Okay, so I'm going to put all the guitars into the main bus, the main music bus, because I tend to group them, but these all have like such a distinct characteristic, and they're just not exactly the same character. Like if it was a bunch of rhythm guitars, I would put the rhythm guitars together. If it was leads, I would put leads together. But since everything's so different, I'm not going to do that with this one. So I'm just gonna send everything, and I'll probably treat all of them differently. And then we have the sample. That's just going straight to the music bus as well. And then we have piano. Oh, this is the okay. Okay, so this is interesting. So he sent me the reverb plate effects as his own thing. So I'm gonna change the color because I thought it was a piano. Let's give it some interesting color here. There. So I have an effects out for all my effects on these mixes. It's the subgroup. So I'm just gonna send that to that. And as we start adding different effects, I'll show you guys how that master bus works too. Because this helps me control the overall level of like reverbs and delays. Because sometimes you want to hear it a little bit more in the mix, sometimes you don't. But if I send it all there, it just helps me kind of get it right. Just an additional level of control and gain staging. Again, gain staging is the biggest thing that I have to deal with. Okay, so okay, so the music, the piano is also going to go through the music aux. Okay, great. And then we have these synths, same thing as the synths. There's not too many of them, and I think we're not going to do a crazy amount of processing. Now vocals.
In the doubt, sometimes it's static. What's 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out? Foresight, like closing time.
So I am going to do something differently here. I'm going to send so he sent me the delays, and it's just for the vocals, but the vocals are also here, huh? Yeah, the delays are. All right, so this is kind of tricky. I'm gonna send these. Usually, I would have sent these delays into the same group as the vocals because I want it all to be one textured thing because it's kind of how the sound he created. But the reverb isn't just solo isolated for the vocals. It includes like the pianos and other things. So we are going to send those to the effects aux. And let's see. Let's find this here. Effects aux. Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna create one. I think we have one already though. Okay. We have hook or my vocal aux, and this one is gonna be called hook aux. That's up here. Okay. All right, so everything is routed, and here is where I'll show you what I have going on. All the tracks in the session have been now routed to these groups. I have drum all, which also feeds into music all, and then I have vox all, and then effects all. And these are auxes, and in these subgroups I have, they're all being fed into an SSL G compressor from Universal Audio. And then from here, they're all being fed into this stereo master aux, which is the name of the song. And this is where I have the 2-bus processing, and I have the master track. Gotta set this master track up real quickly. It needs to be the where are you? Boom. So this master aux can feed into this. So in case I want to do any volume rides on different sections, I can take care of that there. I always use it for my fades. And okay. This is also a way that I'm easily able to check if I have everything routed properly. I just mute the master aux for the track, and as we can see, it has, whoa. It has there's no music playing now. So you see meters going and music's not playing. But what I did notice is that we were going in the red. So what I had to do real quickly was lower the music channel. I had some makeup gain on the SSL. And I just went ahead and lowered the SSL to 0, so we have no gain, no makeup gain. And now we're back to, let me see, where are we with the master bus? Again, as I mentioned, we're looking at gain staging as a huge thing we're always touching base on. And you can see here, our master bus, we're still at negative 0.6, which is great. And then we're going to start adding all the master 2-bus processing. So to this moment, we have done the gain staging, we have all the grouping, we have all the routing in the box. So all these mixes are going to be done in the box, and I chose to do that because I think it's just going to help more people out, because there's a lot of people that are all in the box as well. So if you're in the box, you're just going to be able to relate to some of these, have a lot of these same plugins. I do have a 2-bus. I have a semi mixer that I've done some mixes in the past year, but for this series of TikTok live events, I'm gonna do everything in the box. So we're gonna go through start the master bus section. What I want to do first is I want to listen back to the song as a whole now that we have everything routed properly. And one thing that I like to do is, just go to the end with the markers here. I just go tab 10 if you see my markers page, and then I can just hold shift, return, and it'll take me all the way to the start. So we're just gonna listen back and go through it.
Your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm like
right, so we're still clipping. I gotta find out where we're clipping. So here's the one thing that I've also already set up is all the master subgroups that I have, the drums, the music, and the Vox, it's all lined grouped to a VCA sub, and I'll just lower that by like a dB. Make sure we have our headroom. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do one thing real quickly. How do I delete this comment? Ah, I got a bot comment. I don't like it. It's gonna show up on the stream. Chat. All right, anyways, we'll leave it be. Okay, so we're gonna start with the BX EQ, the Brainworks. This is pretty simple. It's a great plugin. I do a stereo width. I put it at 116, and then I do model maker to 89 degrees, not 89 degrees, 89 hertz. So I want the low end to stay kind of consistent and tight down below that level, and then I want to add some width so the mix has some depth and separation. I don't think I have anything else going on. Cool. So that's all that's going on from this plugin. So you don't hear it right away because I have to put way more processing into it, and then I'll kind of show. Cool. So the next plugin I'm going to put on is the J37 from Waves Audio, and it's a tape emulation. And the clutch thing on this is that I use this preset called Mastering Fat, Tight, and Open. So you can see it here, and this is where it really matters having the gain staging, because you'll see this plugin has meters here. So the louder that I get on this plugin, the more you can see that it's going to saturate and it's going to give you a different tone. I want to control it. So if I had left everything as loud as it was originally, like it'd be in the red and I'd be working backwards. Here I can work in a way that I get to choose how much saturation and how much sounds we get. So that does a nice little jolt of life there. And then we're going to add the first compressor, and I'm using a Neve 33609, and this is my favorite plugin for on the 2-bus compressor for like rock type stuff, anything that has like a live type of instrumentation. Obviously he's programmed the drums, but they have like a live feel to it. And it's just a little warmer, so I'm gonna add it. And this one, the threshold is pretty low. I do 2-to-1 ratio. I have a little bit of gain, and the recovery is a little slower, so it kind of stays glued down. The synth strings are kind of popping out. Yeah, this sample popping out. But see, as I'm starting to add the 2-bus processing, I'm hearing more of these things right off rip, and before adding processing to any of that stuff, I'm kind of shaping the overall house of the mix. And you can see I'm not doing a crazy amount of dB reduction. I try to keep it within like a dB or two. one thing that I really do like to always make sure is that I have this setup as mono, so each side is working individually of each other, and it helps me keep my stereo width and depth. So, um, it's just something that I like to do in order to keep it open. And I'm not using the limiter side of it. I'm just using the compressor. Okay, the next plugin in the chain is going to be EQ, and this one we're using the Pultec. This is from Universal Audio, and this is the EQP-1A classic plugin, analog hardware. So the default setting that I start with is I have it at the low frequency is at 100. I have a boost at about a little bit over 1, nothing on the attention. Then I have the top end at 10K. Again, just a little over 1 dB of boost. And this one actually added like a nice warmth to the low end. Like it just went boom, and like I felt it in the speakers here, so that's awesome. And hopefully you'll at home, if you're streaming this, you can hear the lift that it did. Okay, so I'm just kind of vibing to it because I really like what it did. So we're gonna bypass it real quickly, and let's hear it without it. Okay, and this is with the Pultec back on. So it's really giving a nice little thump to the low end and just a little bit extra of top end that I like. Nothing too much. Again, it's only 1 dB, but what we're doing though is we're really getting the characteristic of that plugin. So since it's based on a hardware piece, it's aiming to have this type of characteristic that the Pultecs would have, and I think we're really actually bringing that out. And I think it's important that you understand that we're doing this with gain staging from the beginning of the mix today. I kept going back to make sure that we weren't going into the red on anything, because I wanted to have the utmost control when we're going through all these different plugins. Okay, the next plugin I like to add is, now this next 3 chain of plugins I use is all EQs, and the reason I do this is because I want to add top end, and I do it in levels so I can get a nice present open sound from the mixes, so they feel, just when you want to have something really polished, you kind of have to start opening it up. I don't like to do it all from one plugin. I like to do it from multiple plugins, and it's like everyone's doing a little bit of lifting. So Massenburg Design Works, this is the EQ5-B5. No, -5B. And I'm adding more top end at the 16K and then a little bit over in the 330 hertz, the very, very low end. Okay, so it's not doing too much. And we might cut it. So then we have here we're going to so we're not actually changing the level output of with the Massenburg, so I was gonna see if we had to lower the level at all, but we're good. We're gonna go to the Pro MB from Fab Filter. And again, I'm just trying to add more lift in the middle to top range. This is, what's the center? This is 4200, so 4K, 2 dB plus. And then this one over here is 15 again, and it's only 1.9. So nothing massive or drastic. Then we're gonna come here to the XL. XL is a limiter, saturator, and it does a handful of things on low, mid, side. So which gives you saturation, but more control with the saturation. So this is why I prefer this plugin over a bunch of other ones, is because I get to decide how much saturation I can put in the highs, the sides, or the lows. Because sometimes you have too much like side information. You don't want to add saturation to that. You want to get the vocal and like the drums that are in the center to have more top end. So this plugin gives me that. So I'm just gonna look at the settings, make sure we're not doing anything. I don't want to start with any gain at this point. I turn off, okay. Okay. So we have about 15% of XL going across the board. So when it was hitting, it's peaking from the Profab. So let's lower the Profab. The Fab Filter, the Pro MB. And one thing to note with this mix, I'm not going to master this mix. This is part of a album that Jeff has been working on. So he was gracious enough to let me mix one song here, and he's going to take it to get fully mastered. So I'm being extra cautious with how much headroom I'm providing at the very end, because somebody else is going to touch it outside of me. And with that, I don't have to make it loud. So I don't need to make it like as loud as I would for a commercial release. And that allows me to just kind of make sure that everything's not clipping, and that I deliver something to the mastering engineer so he has full control. So he doesn't have to try to correct anything, and he's just focusing on taking what I deliver, giving it the additional gain, doing his thing. And it's important that I check all the stuff as we're going along. And that's really important to know offhand, because if I was doing the master, I'd be working probably 2 to 3 dB louder, because as whenever I try to master myself, which I master a majority of my own work, I mix to master very little, because I have everything going on already. Have the levels, the saturation. Like I'm trying to take it to because like I like to mix really hot because I don't like surprises. So, but since I know somebody else is going to be mastering this, I'm also going to be I'm being mindful about how much headroom I give them, because I want them to have dynamics. I want them to have everything in order to make the mix the best master they can. Because if I give them a brick wall, they can't do anything. Because I've gotten brick walls myself, and like I master quite a bit. And when I get that, it's a challenge, but it's also how an artist has been hearing their songs. So you really want to honor that. And since I have the power right now to make these decisions, I'm gonna leave headroom. Okay, so then I have another saturation plugin. This is the black box. So this one's not doing too much again. This one is the mix is at 12%. I have the saturation all the way up. So this is kind of working in like a parallel form. So I'm feeding it of the full signal, and then it's, we have saturation all the way up. We're working on the highs. The air amount is all the way up as well. But the mix is only at 12%, so it's not like it's not jumping out. That is the mix at 100%, and that's not doing any justice to the mix. It's just overblown. So I'm bringing it all the way back down to about 10. And the reason I'm lowering it too is because the drums, the hats, and I'm assuming I think they're just open hats. Oh, there's a ride. So there's a ride and open hats. Like that's like lifting. So we have just a little bit of that, and now we're going to add the two final components. So we have ozone here, and within ozone we have a bunch of different modules. So this is ozone 11. I haven't upgraded to 12 yet, and I have EQ, imager, clarity, stabilizer, dynamic EQ, and the maximizer. Now I'm going to bypass this, but I'm going to turn off all the other plugins, all the modules, and then we're going to start with just the EQ and kind of build it from there. So the curve on this EQ is a little kind of wild, so I'm going to turn off the low end because, you know what, let's see. So I imported this from another session. This mix has way more low end than the previous session we did, and it's like more, and it's registering on all like the 50 hertz, 30 hertz, 60, 80, 100. That one previously, we had to make up a lot of gain in the low end, but it's always nice to control some of the low end so your meters aren't going crazy. Because low end, if you have a heavy low end, it will, trigger meters and trigger compression from limiters. Also adding, you can see here some 1K. Oh, no, no, I didn't want to do that. And 700, I don't know if I need these. It's just a really well balanced, the mixes and everything's already well balanced. So, all right. The next module is Imager. This is another great plugin that I personally like because it helps with the width and it does this great thing where it doesn't lose or give you phasiness. It just helps you kind of add width to your mix. And it's a really important thing for me, the width of mixes, because that's what you get to. I think that's where the mixes shine, is when you can show depth and you can show width. And but you have to do it in a natural way. Out of the box, when you do through consoles, semi mixers, analog gear, you're able to really do that because it's going through circuitry and it's just automatically spreading out. So I like it. I like to add it in like little levels. Like you saw that we added some width with the first plugin with the BX V3 digital. Now we're adding a little bit more with the Imager. And here's a cool thing, like with Ozone, you have this Delta feature here, which will play you only what that module is doing. So let's hear that. So
It's all the distance in the
so when listening in Delta mode, it was really adding too much of the top end of the cymbal and the open hat. I just didn't want more of that, so I lowered the top range, so we're not adding to that. And then the overall amount that we're adding of this plugin to the processing, I lowered as well, because I don't want to do. I feel like it's pushing that too far up. So I wanted to add that feeling of depth and width, but I don't want to add. I don't want to push too much of the ride into the mix. Okay, next module is going to be clarity. Same thing. We're just going to listen through on Delta. So with the Delta right now, with the clarity and Delta, I'm trying to find what frequencies I want it to enhance. So this here, if we put it at 0, it's doing too much of like again, I'm fighting these cymbals from the drums and I don't want to add more of that. So we're just going to add a tilt to 3 dB octave. So I'm still just trying to find what tone I want to add from clarity. Okay, I like that because we're adding the vocal, we're adding some of the tones from the synthesizers. So let's put that back into the mix now. Okay, so I went back into the EQ because I'm just feeling overall we're getting way too much EQ, too much top end, and I don't think it's benefiting the mix at all. So we reverted back to dropping the top end on this EQ. Mind you, we have a handful of EQs already working on top end for the tubeless processing, but this last round was too, and it's not actually a lot. It looks like a big thing, but it's only like a dB or two. But we're lowering it to like 0.4. And now we're going to move on to the stabilizer. So here's the stabilizer. So we're just trying different things here to see what we can do where this can help the mix the most. Because I'm not into shaping it right now. Because again, I think we have too many things going on that to add some of the stuff is not helpful. Yeah, so I like what it's doing there because I'm that little talk that I don't know if you can hear it on that stream, but I cannot. That is not good for me. That is not helping me. And I like this because I want to control. Control is the biggest thing right now. So yeah. Let me see if there's any stereo. It's stereo. Oh. Let's try mid side. Oh, I like this. This transient. So there's a setting here for transient. You can pick and choose different what it's working on. So we were working in stereo. I tried mid side, but transient seems to kind of locate the frequencies that are kind of troublesome. So let's put the we're back in the whole thing, and then we're gonna look at the dynamic EQ. Yeah, so we're gonna solo these bands to make sure these are the bands that we want to keep out. And so this is the beautiful thing about some of these plugins now, that they have these features where you can solo what the actual plugin is doing, and it allows you to make a educated decision into like, oh hey, what is it affecting? And sometimes you just add a plugin and you're like, what's it doing? But I like what it does. Here you can kind of reverse engineer it, like you're hearing what the plugin is doing from just the frequencies it's affecting, and then you can be like, hey, this is musical, this works or it doesn't work. And yeah, this is great. Okay, so I think this is like a low mids that I kind of want to get rid of. See right here, this is the frequency you want to get rid of. It's like peaking. Let's see. Yeah. Again, this is I hate don't like this frequency. And you can see here, this is really rad. You can just you can click on the EQ you're selecting, and you just solo it. And this is like a bell. Oh yeah, love those going down. I'm gonna bring the threshold down even lower. There is also some, we can do some de-essing to the mix, but it's gonna get mastered, so I don't really want to do that now. Because if I was mastering it, I'd probably do a stage of it here. But this is great. Okay, so now we're going to add the maximizer module, and this is the maximizer has two modes that I use. It's either modern or transient. Transient keeps the attacks, and it slaps. I can't say enough good things about it. And you know what? I'm gonna do one thing. We're gonna add a print track real quickly. So Command Shift N. We're going to make a stereo track. Now, if you are a quick key person, if you select Control Command head arrow, it automatically goes between mono. Yeah. full-time music. Welcome back, bro. I do production, mixing, mastering, and Adobe Atmos. Okay, so created a brand new audio track. So let me just do this. This is actually should be called ST aux mix. Great. This is mix one. Okay, and then the input for this, and again we're in the box, so we're doing all digital routing. We're going to send to stereo print mix, and then this aux is gonna go here, and then I got a input monitor enabled. And then with command clicking on the S, it solo saves it, so it can't be when something else is soloed, it'll still play. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to add my metering. Metric AB is what I use to check meters. For sure, bro. Tap in. You can hit me here on TikTok, IG, anywhere. Oh, we love to collab and stuff, so and work together. So just hit me up. You can see the different meters going on there. The reason I wanted to put it on now is because I like to cancel. I like to see where when I start limiting is where I start adding gain and volume, and then that's the time that at that point I want to know what I'm doing, like how loud is the mix, and what I'm trying to accomplish. I'll probably be on this one for another 30-40 minutes before I call it. I try to do 2 to 3 hours, 2.5 hours to 3 hours. I'm usually on these on Monday. I do this every Monday with new different mixes from artists, and I'm probably gonna do it till the end of the year. So now that we have the metering, I'm gonna go back to the maximizer, and I think I had 3 dB gain on the maximizer. I'm actually gonna go lower it to 1.5. Sounds good, brother. Tap in. Okay, so let's do the Delta mode because I've actually had quite a bit of. It's been a learning experience for me too to just go through each module and do the Delta mode to see what that module is adding to the mix. I'm usually kind of working faster and not always trying to see what each part is doing, but this has been really informational for like I'm hearing what the clarity did. We switched some settings on both clarity and stabilizer, and I think it and the dynamic EQ. We were able to like really dive in and find better EQ points for it to start shaving off or just kind of there's a few frequencies that pop out from any mix and that you want to kind of control, especially as you're getting louder in the mixing process. And since we were going through every single one, we were able to really control a few of them, and I feel like the balance of the mix is really strong right now. Yeah, so check out, there's this upward compression thing they have on this version, and they have soft clip. Okay, so we're gonna also go with the light clip. The upward compression, I don't know if I want the upward compression. It seems to be doing a lot. So, but let's just kind of go lower with it. Yeah, okay, cool. So we just went a little bit lower on the upward compression. Now let's take it out of delta mode. Oh guys, I'm sorry, but this thing keeps popping out on me. It's this delay repeat that he has, and as we're adding things, it gets louder and louder. So we're gonna drop it a few more dBs, and so really in a great place here. Now I need to do one more thing. On the my last limiter on the chain that I have for my 2-bus is the Brainworks. So this one I like to time to the tempo of the song. So we're gonna go to Safari, Nick Fever. Shout out Nick Fever, man. The free free website, and you just put in your delay time, your tempo time, and it'll give you the milliseconds for, if you're trying to keep it on tempo. And let me see, grab the tempo of the song. It's 101, and let's see, yeah, 101. So we'll come in here, 101, and it's 297, and I want to 297. The release time is going to be at that, set to that, so it's working in rhythm. So like the limiter is being let go to that tempo on an 8th note of the song. So it's a musical way of using the limiter. And this has I don't want 2 gains of dB. So we're gonna start with 0 gain of dB on this one. And for my crowd here, you can check it out. This is a plugin. So not doing a whole lot of heavy lifting. I added 1 dB of gain, and one thing that I do want to note that my ceiling is negative 0.27. For the mastering stage of stuff, it really helps not to do that. And this also has true peak limiting, which I might have to turn off since it's going to mastering. But I mean, this is the shape of my mix. I think the mastering guy has plenty of headroom. That's what, like right now we're only like at LUFS, we're at negative 10. A mix like this, I'd probably finish around 8 to 7. So 2 to 3 dB of headroom for the mastering engineer is going to be great for him. So let's take it to the top now and listen from the top.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static, was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels, pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Take me
So we're in a really good place. We're going to start going through some of the elements. Uh, the drums are. I gotta hear the reference. I have a new reference, so I'm gonna. I need to download that. So let's go to the OBS. Someone hit me with the huh on YouTube. I don't even know what that means. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's all working. I gotta do this real quickly. I gotta download the new reference because the reference I have, I'm missing the end of the track. It happens. So split capture. We're gonna go dark on that for a second while I get the file downloaded. And yeah, okay, cool. Did I download it already? No, I need to re-download that one. Okay. So what's always important is checking the stems versus the last reference you get from the artist. And the reason that is because you want to make sure you have all the elements. You want to make sure that like everything in the stems that they sent over matches their last reference, so you can take it from where they left off. A lot of times I'll miss stuff. And so yesterday I set up the session and I was communicating with the artist and he had sent me the reference track, but I already kind of checked everything and it sounded fine. But I want to make sure that I got the last few parts correct. And so it's downloading now. And we will go in live, we'll go and import it into the session just to kind of check a few things. And that's what the beauty of the plugin, the Metric AB. Metric AB allows me to import different tracks. So I can import that track. I could import reference tracks like other artists if I want to. Like they're like, hey, I really like how the vocals sit on Modest Mouse record, just random. But I'll buy the song from Amazon or wherever else I can buy it, and I'll download the song and then I'll A/B it to his and be like, okay, just it's not gonna be exactly the same ever, but like it gives you a reference. You're like, oh yeah, this is probably what he meant. He wanted it to hit here and stuff like that. So I really love Metric AB for those because it's in the session. I don't have to AB it through like the Pro Tools stuff, and it's just easy to kind of work through it. And okay, cool. Now I'm going to put the screen back on, and now everybody can see what we're doing again. Right. So here's Metric AB. Just I live and die by this plugin. I use it for all my mixing. I use it for all my mastering. It is incredible. Not only does it give you the ability to do this to check with different songs, you can have multiple songs in one plugin, which is great. Plus, you can also the metering. Like I've used the metering for many years, and it's pretty accurate. I do take one more step whenever I am mastering. I will check everything in RX 11. I will import that to check and have it read. It just seems to be the best one for me to know exactly what level it is. So, no, okay, wrong artist. Okay. I have this folder reference here. I have his track here. We're going to sync because it's all starting at the same levels at the same time. So if I take the marker and go to the outro, it's going to automatically take his reference track to the outro. But I also have the last song that he released for the album. This one's called Future Like Billy. Now, the reason I want this is because I wanted to see how loud his mixes were. So when I deliver my mix to him, he is able to kind of A/B it according to the mixes, because I don't want to send in a super hot mix to the mastering guys. I wanted to send it close to what he's already been doing. So let's see. You can see here. Here's a so you just hit load, pick the track you want to pick, and then you have this button and you click A/B. Blue is my track playing in Pro Tools, and B is the song we uploaded to the plugin. Oh, what's going on here? We have a glitch in the system. That's it.
Would you know that it's not nothing wrong? In the same place, can you tell that I'm gone? I miss you move through me. I'm in love.
Okay, so he is actually mixing very quiet. So we're gonna have to look at this in a second. I don't think I'm gonna mix that low because that's just not how I go about it. Let's hear.
In the same place, on the same page. It's not your fault. It's all distant.
So it's a lot quieter. He's fairly low. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just mix it to my level. Um, I'm already kind of lower than what I do, but I'm probably gonna give it an additional 2 dB lower. But I don't want to go as low as he does because it's just he's pretty low, and I think that works for him, and that's how he's been doing it. But like I already have so much processing and gain staging going through that, like for me to go to that level of low is not beneficial for the mix. But having this knowledge is making me understand that I won't push too much on the top end because the mastering engineer is probably already pushing a lot for him from his mixes because he's coming up. He's going up a good amount of dB in order to make it like a as loud as the final product is. Because I've heard the final stuff on Spotify, and it's loud. It's commercially viable with everything else. So I am going to just finish it, and I'm probably gonna do even less. Like we can just go straight here to maybe the maximizer. But the thing is, there is like a bit of a sound to these things when when you're getting the compression and stuff. So I'm gonna go to the Brainworks and kill the gain on that one, and we'll just kind of take it from there. I think overall it's in a good place. So let's just kind of keep going.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static, was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out.
All right, so let's hear the drum.
Static was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels, pick your favorite.
The drums are going to the Shadow Hills, and we're only using the screech section, and we have it set up so we're getting about -1 dB of reduction.
Static was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels, pick your favorite.
I like that. And then I'm gonna go to the. So one of the things that I have is this thing called the rear bus, and this is a parallel compressor where I put all the music, the instruments. I don't put the drums, just like basses, guitars, keys, and all that stuff. So when routed here, it goes into this 1176, and it's crushing it. Like it's gonna crush the sound of all the stuff, and then I slowly bring it into the mix. Um, and then I do have a Pro Q3 afterwards to kind of kill off, lower all these frequencies that I think get in the way. I don't need a build up of certain frequencies. That's a crazy curve. I did that years ago, and I've worked with it, so we're leaving it there. At this point, I might have switched a few of the things, but hey, it's still good. It's still good. It's still working. Let me see.
Static was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels, pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe.
So we are going to hit all the different elements that I want to add the rear bus to. So I'm just going to click on them. With Pro Tools, if you do command click, it selects only the track that you have clicked, but it doesn't unselect the previous track. So I have all these synths, pianos. So here, you can see I've clicked everything that I want to click. And then once I click everything, I go Option Shift, and we're going to come up here to anyone, and we're going to need to select the rear bus, and it automatically puts it on all the tracks. And then if you continue to hold Option Shift and click on the fader, all of them go to 0. So it's all of it's being sent. Now, what I don't want to do is have that full blast. So we're gonna take a listen.
Was 4 flights to 4 years
And we're going to bring it up on its own. So we're gonna bring it up, and you're gonna see.
Was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels, pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. In the same place, on the same page. It's not your It's all distance in
All right, so there's one thing bothering me with the drums. It's like the drum sample thing that we have going on here. It has this high mid range, I would say, not truly top end. That's kind of annoying. It's a super cool vibe, but we have to fix it. So again, Soothe has delta mode, so we're gonna just listen to what it's working on so we can find the frequency. And I'm not gonna use all the bands, so we're gonna turn off the bands we're not using. Adios, adios, adios. Nope, okay. And then we're gonna also change a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. We're trying to find what frequency we wanted to like help control. Ah, so it's actually a lower frequency. It's not a higher frequency. Ah, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So you hear that? That's the frequency that's been like sticking out to me in the speakers, and I'm just like, I gotta get rid of it. So I have now we kind of found it. So now we're gonna take the Soothe 2 out of Delta mode and hear it working, but we're gonna add some depth so it's working. Quality, we're going to go to high. Let me see, resolution same. Okay, cool. Same. We don't oversample. Mix it 100%. Let's hear it. And I think we're gonna switch over from left right to mid side. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, okay, cool. Took care of that issue. So we have that fixed now. So let's go back to the mix.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause. Memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause. Your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static. Was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out.
Okay, so really like what's going on there. I gotta hear more of the effects. So earlier in the mix, he sent effects to with us from the track. He printed his reverbs and delays. So
foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your.
I gotta hear his reference to see how deep he has those.
Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out.
So we got a good balance of bringing back his effects into the mix so we can hear him, because it's part of the tone that he has. So I wanted to keep them there.
Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one
So I'm gonna add some juice to the vocal effects. Sure. Not the vocal effects, but the vocals themselves. I'm gonna add some parallel compression that I like. That gives it some character and it lifts it in the overall mix. So I have two things. Did I bring them in? Yeah, I did. I don't see them. No way. I'm tripping. Okay, I didn't bring in these vocal. I have the. That's so strange. Okay. Sometimes you don't bring everything in. You know, Pop Crush and Vitalizer. Okay, I didn't bring them in. Okay, so now they're here. These are the two parallel compressors that I use for vocals. So now that we have them here, the first one is going to be the Vitalizer. And this is the SPL Vitalizer you can see here. It's a super cool widening plugin, and it just kind of does a little flavor to it. And then I have this Pop Crush with the Vulture Culture, which is a great saturation box. And we are going to send it to that. So let's go here, Pop Crush. So both of these sands, I'm just going to take them to 0. And okay, where are these guys going? Yeah, okay. So I actually have to add it in the individual track and not on the actual bus because it's feeding into the bus. So it's creating a loop. So because it's going from the bus to the compressors to the parallel compression back into the bus, it's a loop. But if I go from the individual tracks to the compressors and from the compressors into the bus, it's just no feedback, which is a very important thing in these tracks. You don't have feedback loops because it's not good for the ears. So I'm just spreading it on all the different tracks, and then I'm going to lower the vocal. Both of these are going to lower, and then I'm going to slightly bring them in as the vocals come in. So we're going to go look at the first verse.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings. Till ceilings fall, I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static, was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels, pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings. Till ceilings fall, I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static, was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels, pick your favorite one to run to out. Maybe I'm out, but I wouldn't take this long. You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings. Till ceilings fall, I'm left sitting low, singing just to.
So adding the parallel compressors with the Pop Crush, as I call it, and the Vitalizer just gives the vocal more clarity and more top end without it being so harsh. You know, it's just more up front now, with clarity, which I want, and I'm not pushing any EQs right now. So I like where we're at with that.
You know your mind's like a
That breath is I love the breath, but I feel it's a little too pronounced at this point because of the compression. So we're going to lower it.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. My mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading.
So this key, it's very in the center. I had to put a Pro Q4 to kind of combat some of the peaking frequencies because now we're like really hearing things. And I am also going to spread it, which I'm using PS22 spread from Waves. So here's the plugin. So yeah, I'll leave it here so you can see. We're going to try to see what we can do here. So this is not the setting I want. We're gonna try to create yeah, maybe less. Let's see. Let's hear this. I don't even know what we're doing. Where's the piano part?
You know.
So this is really great. Like I'm just messing around with settings and try to find something that's cool that spreads it out. But this is the sound without the plugin. Now here's with the plugin on. So automatically we got width. Automatically got the width. So the cool thing about this is that it's no longer fighting the vocal in the center because like this was just fighting the vocal. So we're gonna put it back.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings. Till ceilings fall, I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure.
The drum is still the same. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Okay, so that sample is what's getting in the way. But we're gonna do this on the sample drums. We're gonna sidechain it. We're gonna add Sooth, and we're going to sidechain with Sooth from the vocals because the vocals are the key part that we don't want it to step on. And right now, I'm just routing the Sooth to take the vocals. So I have this aux for my vocals. From here, I'm going to send it over to, so all the vocals are going to be sent to bus 3 at full level. And when I go back to that drum sample track, I already have the key selected as bus 3. And you click the sidechain on. Quality, we're going to go to high quality, and then we're going to increase the depth so it's actually like really working on it.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static. Was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like close.
I don't think it's working.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me.
Okay, so here's what happened. So that trick works when the sound is in the frequency of the vocals. So it turns out the sound that's bothering me is in the lower mids. So because it's in the lower mids and the vocal range is not touching that, it wasn't lowering it. So we just copied from the previous drum at the very end. Earlier we found that same frequency, ducked it on Soothe, so I just copied and pasted it, and it took care of it.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static. Was 4 flights to 4 years if they never crash out. Foresight, like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one.
That's hitting hard. Like I like where that's hitting. So what I'm doing now, I am going to work on the bass. The bass, I wanted to add a little bit more of like a presence from the mid range of it. I have a parallel compressor. I'm big on parallel compressing. And it's called the Fatso. I just routed it to it and I sent it all the way in. The Fatso that I have, it's this Universal Audio plugin, Fatso Junior. It has just really great emulation for the actual piece of gear, and I sent it all the way there, and now we're gonna just kind of slowly bring it into the mix.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings.
Something's not adding up here. Oh, there it is.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your call.
So I put it up higher than I would just to hear what it's attacking, and it's giving it that mid range and just kind of pushing there. So that's really cool, but I had to bring it back down. I'm also going to add a decapitator to just kind of heighten the mid to top end with some saturation stuff. I'm still in the process of loving saturation, but to taste, like I don't go anything like extreme. That's like the one thing I don't like to do is too much extremes. Certain cases, yeah, you need it, but a little bit goes a long way.
You know your mind's like a maze, the way it's tricking me out. My thoughts get heavy and bent when they're heading south. When memories betray me, they traded me for feelings till ceilings fall. I'm left sitting low, singing just to figure it out. Put life on pause, your calls to lessen the doubt. Sometimes it's static. Was 4 flights to 4 years.
So the same thing with these guitars. I am going to. They're just too mono for me, so I'm gonna add. I use different widening tools, and I would highly recommend you don't do this right away because it will screw up a mix more than it helps it if it's not done right.
You know your mind's like a maze. Sometimes it's static. Was 4 flights to 4 years. If they never crash out, foresight like closing tunnels. Pick your favorite one, two.
And I'm also gonna add a plate. You know, I'm a big super plate guy. So super plate from not Universal. This is from Sound Toys. And we're just gonna take the mix to like about very light. We're gonna start with, it's pretty big, but I like it.
Sometimes it's
How big the sound is, because reverbs you can do long, short, stuff like that. But and we're gonna work on the filters, maybe some pre-delays and modulation to give it some character.
take this long.
Alright, the vocals are kicking really good. I'm really happy where the vocals are sitting right now. So the chorus stack. But before we move on to that, we gotta work on the main guitar, and then we also gotta touch the sub. So in the pre-chorus, he added a sub, and it's super, super low. What I'm gonna probably do is give it some. Turn my mic up. My bad, bro. I got you. So, all right. So we're up. The mic is up. So this is my Twitch folks. Let's hear this right here. So the 808 or the sub. We're gonna keep it simple. Decapitator to kind of give it some boost. I've already added some low end on the overall mix, and because I did that in the overall mix, I don't want to add it on the sub. Guitars are great though because they're already really spread and well put together. I usually do more on guitars, but because I like how he has it, I'm not really gonna touch it. Let's see. I'm not gonna do too much because usually I have to do more as far as like making it break through the mix and whatnot. But I think we're just gonna add like a little. Let's try a new plugin. So I'm gonna do dynamics and I like old stuff, old hardware emulation plugins. So 176, classic. I gotta check my meters here. Okay, cool. So UAD plugins. I'm not using the native stuff. I am on the I still have a satellite, so I have to make sure that I'm not using too much DSP. So I'm gonna change. You know what? Maybe let's try more like a limiter. And I was usually go with 4 to 1, but like let's try 8 to 1. So we're doing fast attack, kind of fast release. Maybe I'll slow the release down a little bit and kind of still get the fast attack so we control the transients. And we're gonna make this mix 100%. I really love what it brought out, but I know that some of the low end is the low mids. It's a little too much from what I already have. Yeah. So that right there, we're just gonna hit the dynamic, and we're gonna lower that guy. We're gonna tighten up the Q to about a 3, 4. Okay, so really cool. Again, we're using the UA. This is the 176 plugin. All right, so that's really cool. I like that a lot. His now we have to check his background vocals. So the background vocals, I have a different parallel compressing technique I like to use. This is incorporated from Andrew Sheps. It's a handful of things here are from Andrew Sheps that I saw through his mixing workshops, and the same with Jason Joshua and stuff I've picked up over the years. The 2 bus I think is basically mine at this point. Like I've just done some wild stuff over the years, but like the parallel compressor stuff always came from Andrew Sheps. He had like some really great insights into that. So we're gonna route the stacks to Aphex aux. Aphex is like a let's go to the plugin to show you guys. It's a vintage exciter, so has it's a character box for sure. Like, let me see if you guys can see it. This one's again from Waves, but it's just a very character box thing.
In the same, how can we stay?
You gotta hit it just right, because if you do too much, it just makes it kind of boxy.
How can we stay?
Oh, it's a lot. Let's see if there's a message here.
In the same place, on the same page. It's not your fault. Follow me. It's all distance in the
Locked in there. We're good. I like that a lot. So now we are back to the post. Okay, I love this sound, but it's too it's peeking through too much. So my go-to compressor is the 160 from Waves from Universal Audio.
You know I'm always losing track.
We had some vocal noise here that we need to get rid of as well. Sometimes I like it, but not there. So I'm gonna check the mix, his reference, to see where those things were spread out.
You know I'm always losing track. You know I'm always losing track. Whenever I count, you know a time's got no limit, but it's running out. This world will give me 10 more reasons to hate you. I won't. She got me looking at where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I finish this part. I learned to sing.
I'm actually on that Spring Verb guitar. We're gonna add a H comp compressor. I've never used it. Ratio, so 3:1. So if I can pick the ratio myself, I do 3:1. I just like it. Oh, this is wonderful. So here, check this out. The H comp. I never used this. Has a sync to release to the BPM of the track, which is amazing. Like this right here is huge. I love that. That's how I do my limiters at the end. This is gonna make sure that we're kind of releasing to the tempo of the song. Way to go, H comp. Would love a few more plugins like that. Yeah, that's great.
Really care long as I finish this part. I learned that sinning is hard.
And I'm going going to pan it just the slightest because I don't want it in the center. Pan here, where are we? We're not in screen. Yeah. So we're going to. Oh, wait. Pan, yeah. The other guitar's to the left, so I'm only going like 8 to the right. It's not a lot, but it does make a difference.
You know I'm always losing track whenever I count. You know a time's got no limit, but it's running out. This world will give me 10 more reasons to hate you. I won't. She got me looking at where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I finish this part. I learned that sinning is hard. I learned a new language, and what the fuck I'm whispering for. I seen the tens, the 20s, the tens. Attention, no advance. Can't hold my own to save a plan. Maybe this is harder, cause you think that I am perfect, but I'm out here trying me. She get me out of
Okay, so we have like a bunch of things happening here on the pre-chorus, the second pre-chorus. He has 2 sets of vocals going over each other now, and it's not working quite well right now. So we're gonna level some stuff out.
Can't hold my own to save a plan. Maybe this is harder, cause you think that I am perfect, but I'm out here treading. Can't hold my own to save a plan. Maybe this is harder, cause you think that I am perfect, but I'm out here Can't hold my own to save a plan. Maybe this is harder, cause you think that I am perfect, but I'm out here trying. She get me out of
Okay, so I'm still just leveling stuff right now because this is such a drastic change, and now that we have we have all the master busing and everything going through, that it's changed. Like this level is completely out of whack, and we're slowly putting it back together because I want to make sure we keep that rhythmic vocal from the verse going nice and strong, and then the pre-sung long notes. I'm just trying to make sure that they balance right on top of it, and they're kind of going like this, working in tandem. We're gonna get it. Okay, this is a little off track, but we're gonna kind of. I just heard this right now, and I need to find space for it. And I think I need to find space for things as we're building this section with levels. Again, back to the spread, but this one, there's this one cool setting, diffuse highs, which I like. And let's hear it. Yeah. love that synth texture is really cool. So what we're gonna do is I'm just trying to add some. We use spread. It's a little bit to the side. We're adding radiator and sound toys. I love you guys, but like this this looks blurry. I don't know why it's blurry. Like it's like this and it's kind of annoying. I love you guys though. I bought the upgrades just to upgrade. Um, I don't need the plug-in window this ginormous and blurry. I don't know why. It just little things bother me when I'm working on these mixes and the companies change things and I'm like, what are you doing? So I'm just trying to add some EQing to bring this out a little bit. This other synth is super cool. So I'm trying to find some more. Okay, turn on the EQ. Let's see what we can do. Whoa, what happened? Alright, so this gave it some more life for sure. Yeah, okay.
In the same place, on the same page. It's not your fault. It's all the distance in the
Okay, so real quick things I did while we were listening is the risers, which we haven't even touched much. I gave it a little bit saturation with the decapitator. I like the so this is like an Ampex that it's emulating. I think it's a mic pre little drive. And then I also do delays on the riser so it kind of doesn't just fall off the face of the earth. It kind of like still kind of goes a little bit, but it doesn't get in the way of the other stuff. So like if we solo it, you hear like kind of works. Okay, that worked great. I did the same thing for the riser too. Let's make sure it works.
I hate you, I want. She got me looking at where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I fin. Where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I finish this part.
I think we could probably add some sort of EQ to bring in some of the, because we don't really hear it too much. I would like to give it some more articulation, and we're just like using random EQs that I should have. 6 no, I don't know what it is. I'm just looking through these and seeing what would work. Do I even have this plugin? No, I don't have it. UA. The thing that I don't like about the UA stuff is that like it just puts all the plugins in your plugin when you install it. Like I don't have all the plugins. I have a ton of them, but and sometimes you just buy bundles and you forget what you actually have. So you go through this like, oh, let me see what I have. I just wish they would let me pick what I have. But I'm trying to find different types of plugins, just random stuff that we can just test out. Harrison. Let's try the Harrison.
I hate you, I want.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
I hate you, I want. She got me looking at where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I finish this part. I learned that sinning is hard.
Alright, let me show the Harrison EQ. Boom. Harrison rocking it.
I hate you, I want. She got me looking at where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I finish this part. I learned that sinning is hard. I learned a new language and what the fuck I'm whispering for. I seen the tens, the 20s, the tens. Attention or advance. Can't hold my own to save a pen. Maybe this is harder. 'Cause you think
want to get this little happy guitar thing to kick in just a little bit more, and we're gonna do that. So I'm using the CLA 3A. I haven't used this in forever, so I wanted to try this one out. Um, yeah. So it's giving me a little bit extra kick from it, which I really like. I think we can add a little bit more, and let's use EQs. I'm just trying to find different things I haven't used to see if we can find some cool stuff. Hitsville EQ. Oh, this has to be under the EMG stuff. This is really cool. Check it out. First time using that EQ, awesome. So I just want to highlight this part because it's I love that guitar, and we got it to come out throughout. We have a dense mix at this point. This is the last hook, and he has more elements here. So I found that to be really cool part, and I wanted to give it just a little shine on top of like everything going on. So we're gonna solo it so you guys can hear this. So this is the guitar, happy guitar with nothing on it. And then this is the guitar with the compression and the EQ. For this one, I went with the compressor first, and then I added the EQ. So automatically it's a lot more gain, but the gain is needed, and it's it has a little touch of biteness to it, which I wanted to have. You needed to cut through the dense mix. So at this second hook, we have to go up a touch on the mix. I mean, on the vocals too, because I think the vocals can have a little lift. So everything's working really well at this time. I just went up a few dBs on the vocal, and it did its trick. It went up. So we really wanted that. And now with the outro sample at the very end, I just need to lower it because it's just popping out. It's perfect for when the hook is going on and everything is like just dense. but now we have to lower it. And yeah, the same with this outro bass. I think I gotta lower it a touch so it doesn't feel out of place. It's so funny. All right, that was cool. That so let's go back to the second verse out, and I think we should be fairly close to done now.
Always losing track whenever I count. You know our time's got no limit, but it's running out. This world will give me 10 more reasons to hate you. I won't. She got me looking at where we've been and where we should go. Don't really care long as I finish this part. I learned that sinning is hard. I learned a new language, and what the fuck I'm whispering for. I seen the tens, mid-20s, the tens. Attention or advance. Can't hold my own to save a plan. Maybe this is harder, 'cause you think that I am perfect, but I'm out here trying me. She get me at the surface. In the same place, on the same page. It's not your fault. It's all the distance in the
All right, I think we're pretty close with the mix. We've come a long way. Great song. Really love the song. I think it's all the different parts work well together. So my job was really to just fine tune everything as far as adding some clarity to the parts that were added, so you can kind of feel the song grow because he's got a really good arrangement where like it grows, and that was my big job here. Feel like the mission was accomplished. We were able to use some new plugins, which I was really excited about, and that is it for today. I appreciate those that jumped in the stream. Be sure to subscribe to me, and you can find us every Monday. I'm going to be doing this for probably the rest of the year, and the replay of this is going to be on different platforms. So, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next Monday.